Divorced Dad Diaries, day 58, and today I'm going to be stitching up my 6-year-old daughter's toy. So last night while I was in Christchurch, I popped over to the warehouse, and while I was in there, I had a look in the craft section, and I noticed that you could buy some polyester and some needles. And while I was there, I managed to grab something else that was the reason I was actually there, which was a drying rack for my clothes, because it's been raining all week and I can't dry anything. So knocked that one off the list. And then the next day, while my daughter was at school, I popped over to the ex's house on my smoko and grabbed the toy. Meet Flopsy. She is a jelly cat, which are usually quite expensive, but my ex managed to find her in a second-hand shop, like a Salvation Army, for like $2 or something. And she's been around my daughter's whole 6 years of life and always been by her side. Very well loved, as you can probably tell. But unfortunately, only has one leg, and it's really stressed Coco out. Now, normally Nana would be the sort of person who would fix these things. Side note, actually, we have the kids have a grandma, a nan, a nanny, and a nana. It gets so confusing. And then there's also a great grandma and a great nana, but also Nana is a great grandparent. It's too many titles to remember. Anyway. She would normally be the person who would fix up toys and stitch up clothes, and I'm not going to take that away from her, but I just thought it would be really cool to try and surprise Coco. Now, I haven't stitched anything in a very long time. In fact, I learned to stitch in intermediate school when I would have been about, 11 or 12 or something, and since then I've probably only used it like a couple times in my personal life, and it's probably been at least 10 years at this point since I've touched a needle, so this is probably not going to go very well. Just the heads up for all you people who know your way around a needle. This is not going to, it's going to get the job done. We're going for a C, minimum grade. And that's being backed up by the fact that I did minimal research. I probably should have looked into techniques a bit more, or how to actually do this. I just kind of assumed that it would come back to me, and I guess it kind of did. First off, I couldn't even figure out how to get the thread off the roll. It was tucked in real weirdly, so that took me way longer than it should have. And then from there, I was trying to measure out how much thread I would need, but then I couldn't remember. I didn't actually know. So in the end, I was like, I figure it'd be better to have more than less. So I ended up measuring out roughly about the size of the hole and then timesing that by 8. So I ended up with enough thread to sort of length the entire toy twice over. And then from there, we have to thread it through the needle. So I folded the thread in half, which I think is something you're supposed to do. And then from there, it's kind of easy to just sort of fold the thread over the needle, squeeze it tight, and then feed the folded thread through the eye of the needle rather than trying to stick the end of a thread into the needle. It gives it a bit more structure, and it was a bit easier to get through. So we haven't even started stitching yet. So at that point I figured, okay, I think I have to tie a knot, right? I have to tie a knot at the end of the thread. And I remember there was some weird technique where you kind of wrap the thread around the needle a few times, and then you pull it down the needle, and it should create a knot. I tried it the first time, didn't work. So I thought, must have done it wrong. Tried it a second time, didn't work. Tried it the third time, still didn't work. Figured, stuff it. I don't know what I'm doing. And in the end, I just tied a knot at the end of the thread. Just tied a knot, a good old-fashioned knot. And then I did that a few more times to make sure that the knot was big enough that I wasn't going to accidentally pull it through the fabric. And now we finally get to stitching time. I wasn't really sure how to get the leg on. I figured I should probably try and close the hole first. And I just threaded the needle through a part that wasn't yet ripped. The hole was much bigger than the leg was, so clearly it had been continuing to tear. So started at a part where the thread was still holding together to give it more structure, I guess. And then I didn't really know. I couldn't really remember how to stitch things properly. I thought this would be something that would come back to me, and I didn't really remember how. So in the end, I just kind of fed it from one side to the other, and then I would move over, whoop, stitch. How the hell do you even explain this? I would jump over, like, I don't know, a couple mils to the right, and then poke it back through the fabric, and then across the hole up to the other side. Then again over to the right, a couple mils, down under the fabric, across, up. I hope that makes sense to people. I probably should have researched this a bit more. How do I do this? Okay, it's just a puzzle. I can do puzzles, and I shouldn't overthink this, because the only person who cares is me. Really? I think Coco's just going to be excited, so maybe if I just kind of shove this in here, if I just kind of shove it in, and then maybe go through all of it at once, maybe? I guess we'll see. I can always just unpick it, I guess. So that's what I did, and it worked. And when I got to the end, I realised that I still had a ton of thread left over, I guess, because I pulled out so much, that I ended up going over it a second time, just because I wanted to be sure that it was secure. Kids can be rough. And then at the end of all that, I just tied it off in a knot, snipped it off, and she was all done. It's alive! I actually can't believe it. I've done it. I'm a proper toy surgeon now, an amateur toy surgeon. Probably charge less than minimum wage for my time, but I've done it. It looks great. It looks great. Who am I kidding? It looks fine. And if you look very carefully, you can see the little purple stitching. It's actually quite well hidden. But there are some little reminders of the surgery, as I hoped there would be. I think she's going to be really excited. And I've coordinated this with the ex beforehand. We don't want any oopsies. So I've told her that it's a surprise, and that if Coco asks about where Flopsy is, just say that she's at the doctor, and we'll see what her reaction is. So I shoved Flopsy in my inner jacket pocket like she was some top shelf contraband, and then headed over to the ex's house to give it to Coco.
Hi, Daddy. I'm playing Spyro.
You're playing Spyro?
Yeah.
I have something for you, Coco.
Flopsy!
Have a look again. Have a look at her feet.
It's fixed.
I fixed her. That was great. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of a low mood the last couple days. I don't really know why. I think the weather might have something to do with it. It's just so cold and miserable and wet, so I can't even get out and go for a walk. That was just good for the soul. That's exactly what I needed. And I feel cured again. In case you missed today, I'm planning on going live tonight. I don't know when I'll be able to go live again. Just because next week without the kids, I'll be going away on a wedding and I'll be busy as anything. So if you're free, come along, but otherwise, catch you on the flip side.